Okay, hi, I hope all is well. I'm back. I've been kind of reminiscing a bit and wondering if I should do this video. And so I've kind of been praying a lot and reflecting, and I think I should. So I'm gonna get into today why I walked away, because I walked away kind of a while ago. And although I do look very young, and you're probably like, walked away, like, from what? You were probably not even that political for so long. I actually was political. So I'm gonna get into everything. But before I start, I just want to say, please pray for the nation right now. It is so important. The election is coming up, and we need to pray for this nation. So, with that being said, here we go. First of all, before I even start, I just want to say the intention of this video is not to offend anyone. I do not think anyone differently just because of their politics and their views. Everyone has the right to believe whatever they want in this country, and I will support you with that, right. Now, I also ask you to respect me. Of course, it's kind of hard to do that when people disagree, especially in today's climate, but nonetheless, let's be respectful. So, I'm gonna go give you some background. I was 16 when I learned about American history. And that's when I took my first American history class, and it was great. I really loved it. My teacher was awesome. He was so cool. And I thrived in that class. I learned so much. That's kind of where my whole political interest came. But some more background. I live in California. I live in one of the hubs of the liberal area. I'm not really sure if I'm allowed to say where exactly I live, but let's just say I live in Northern California in a very liberal area, if not the liberal area. So a lot of the things that we're taught in school have to come with a political idea. Practically everything, I'm not even kidding. I didn't realize this until much later, but I immediately swallowed everything that was taught to me. If you were to walk around that hall, or the halls of that school, you would see signs on everything political. Now you'd probably see Black Lives Matter everywhere. You would see a bunch of climate change things, a lot of feminist things, a lot of rape, Me Too things, and all the kids support it, right? I mean, there's nothing, it's for the greater good, right? So I was like an advocate. At 16, I was like, conservatives, Republicans, they're all racist. They all hate everyone. If you love America, you hate Black people. I don't know where, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea where these ideas came from. And I could not tell you, I could specifically tell you that those were not my own words, nor my own ideas. But regardless, my school was a huge place for protests. People would be protesting the Brett Kavanaugh hearing. There were some protests about gun control and gun violence and stuff like that, which is fine, but I don't think it's fine when a school, which is supposed to be the most unbiased place and is just supposed to be an information tool, is now pushing an agenda towards you. But anyway, so the gender, all of that is in my school. The whatever you want to call it, all the race identity politics was in my school. Everything was in my school. Everything. You looked into my hall and you could not understand what was going on with the young people. Everyone was so lost, and looking back, I feel really bad. They taught us so many misinformed things, such as in my sex ed class, when I was 14, they taught us that gender and sex are not related. So you may be thinking that this is happening in college. This is starting in high school, if not now, middle school, if not even earlier. And listen, I'm not here to push anything here. I'm not here to disrespect. All I'm saying is this is the environment that I grew up in. Now, I was on the forefront. I was fighting so hard. I practically hated every man, every conservative, every disagreeer. Couldn't tell you why again. And it was just infiltrated in our system, in my school, on the things that my media, you know, the social media online, to even the books that we were given, to everything. There was feminist ideas being pushed in the books that we read. It was crazy. But of course, I didn't know any of this was going on. I'm just a little kid who's like, okay, yeah, what's trigonometry? You know? So I was like, okay. But, and so I was such an advocate for like the liberal ideas and everything that was going on. And I didn't want to hear the other side at all. I did not want to hear the other side. Until there was a switch. And I'm so glad that there was a switch so early, because I think that I would still be a liberal today if it wasn't for this. Okay, so backtrack, I'm still super liberal even though I want to be Catholic now. So this is when I really start getting serious about being baptized. But I truly thought, I remember saying to myself, I'm like, oh, it's totally okay to be a liberal and a Democrat, be pro-life. I mean, pro-abortion, I was pro-choice. I was totally pro-choice because that's what they told us in that sex ed class, that the contraception is like the holy grail. They brushed along abstinence in that class, but oh well. And so I was so prepared to be like a Democrat advocate Catholic until I was in RCIA one day, and the pro-life argument and topic came up. And my teacher said, you cannot be Catholic and pro-choice. And I was like, what? No. So I asked her, I was like, well, what about, you know, victims? What about people who were hurt and now they want to, you know, find this plan B almost? And she's like, no, you cannot be Catholic and pro-choice. I was livid. I was so livid. I was like, how could she say this? She hates women. She is such a sexist, and she's probably a racist now. But thank God for my RCIA teacher, because after that, I went online and actually started listening to the other side. I was like, okay, hold on. She lives in California. She lives in this huge hub. She's just like me. She's trying to figure everything out. And yet she's still pro-life. Why? And this is why I'm such a pro-life advocate, because if it wasn't for this whole discovery of pro-life, I would not be a conservative today. But anyway, so I go home and I search and I research everything. And that's when I found TFP Student Action, which is a YouTube channel that I even recommend as a great Catholic YouTube channel. And I was so offended. I was offended for people. I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be Catholic. Maybe God doesn't exist. I was so like, I feel so sorry that I was even considering this, and I put my opinions and my beliefs over God. My gosh, I have to live with that for the rest of my life. But anyway, I was so offended until once I started watching a little more and hearing the other side. There was also one thing that a guy said that changed my mind. And that was when I was watching a video of like these protests, and it was on the street, and it was these men, right, who were pro-life, and I was like, oh, I hate them, you know, I don't like them. And I was so mad at them, but they were so stoic. And I was like, it's really attractive just to see men be so stoic and so chivalrous and so gentlemanlike and so, you know, dressed up and whatever. And so they said, and the main guy said, as he was facing a bunch of college students, he's on the campus and he's, you know, trying to not convert, but trying to bring his message across, and they're so violent and so vile. And that's the reaction I had. And he said, where's your tolerance? Aren't you the side of tolerance? And I kid you not, the day after that, I was so changed. I was like, oh my gosh, he's so right. Aren't I supposed to be tolerant? as I'm trying to preach tolerance. And then I started seeing so many more hypocrisies like that. I was like, we want equality and we want equal voice, yet we don't give half the country a voice or let them speak. And we love women so much that we're able to support an industry that ruins women. Like, you know, Planned Parenthood, you tell me one woman that walked out of that clinic feeling a better woman. That's why I'm pro-life, is because I don't want any woman to have that shame and that guilt in their life. But anyway, so I started seeing the hypocrisy, and I started thinking, what am I really fighting here? What am I fighting? And then I really started to get intrigued in the conservative side, because they were not mad. They were not mad at the world. They weren't mad at anyone. They weren't mad at the system. They were in fact happy. And they were happy to be here. And they were happy that their system is the most charitable, the most equitable, the most peaceful, the most equal, the richest. And I was like, why the heck do I hate my country? I didn't hate it, of course, but I was like, why am I so mad at my country? And I also, but this all kind of also stemmed, so there were many realization moments and so many people saying a certain thing that I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. And so once I got into gov class, my senior year of high school, that's when my politics really started to shift. It was senior year of high school, I was 17. And he said, you know, we were talking about the government, and I started realizing, I'm like, this is the best system in the world. We are the first country with a constitution like that. We are the first country to actually institute equality and freedom of speech and freedom of religion, and we have done that successfully for 250 years. Whereas in other countries, although whatever the reason, they do not allow complete, total freedom of speech. And so I was like, I should be proud of that. I am a part of that. I am supporting that. And then I started hearing other people's side. And we had a debate, and it was about the immigration thing. And I was kind of neutral at this point. I was like, I don't know if I'm either now. And so the immigration point was about, should we let illegal immigrants who've been here for 10 years undocumented just be granted the citizenship now since they've been here for 10 years? Or should we not? And of course, the whole class said, of course we should. You know, illegal immigrants are, you know, whatever. And one kid said no. One kid said, no, I do not agree with that. Not because I'm against immigration and not because I'm against brown people or people coming from the South, but because I am for the law. I am against illegality. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Never looked back. I never looked back. And now, I say I never looked back, but now looking back, I see how sad this side is. I see how broken, how confused and lost this generation is. How they feel like the world just owes them something. And I said, no, you owe yourself something. Make yourself good, you know, make something for yourself. And then I started realizing men are not the problem to any of these things that is going on. Every single problem that you see in the United States today can be solved from the nuclear family being reestablished. Every single one. Every single one. If we actually started putting the family as the priority of what it means to be an American and what it means to live in this country, you will see so much change. And the reason why these people, these, you know, liberals feel like they're so entitled is because they didn't understand what it meant to see role models. They don't have leaders who are courageous, who are selfless, who are hardworking, who are generous, who are well-spirited, who are religion-based. And I was so done with wanting to be mad. And I wanted to be proud, and I didn't want to have to target everyone and fight everyone and have to teach everyone. I can't even believe I was so entitled that I felt that I needed to teach others. I was like, oh my gosh. So now this is what I know. I love my country. I love the Constitution. I love the law. I love God. I love my personhood. I love being with kids so much, so much. And it's so sad to see all my girlfriends think that they're gonna find something in a career when I'm like, if you just spend a moment with a child, which sounds so weird, but it's so true. They're such blessings. It's what inspired me to want to be a teacher. It's what inspired me to be a better Catholic. Anytime I saw these kids every day after school, I was like, I need to be a better person. I need to be a better role model for these kids. I need to be a better woman. And so I started really understanding what it means to be a woman and being feminine. I stopped wearing sweats and short shorts and everything athletic, just like looking kind of like a slob like everyone does now. I want to dress up now. I want to feel feminine now. I want to be, cherished. I want to, I seek for chivalrous men. I seek for order. That's literally all I seek, is order and family values being put first again. Now, with this being said, I want everyone to understand, I do not hate anyone or think even differently or treat anyone differently if you disagree with me. And I can't believe I'm saying that I'm gonna be voting Republican. And I'm honestly kind of scared to send out this video because in my community you can actually get attacked for just saying anything that's a disagreement. In fact, that even happened in my school. A kid who was a Republican, I don't know if he was a Trump supporter necessarily, but he was a Republican. And once he told someone that he was Republican, the family got their tires slashed, and I was like, this is getting out of hand. The cancel culture, the idea that everyone's wrong, the idea that the world owes you something, especially the government, no. Sorry, I'm not gonna succumb to that. The whole point of this country is independence and individualism. And if you can't even use the most prosperous system in the world to pull yourself out of whatever, that's not the system's fault. That's all I'm gonna say. Regardless of where you are, if you think it's the government's fault that you are where you are sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. Because this government actually gave you the ability to work. You can work freely. You can buy whatever you want freely. You can say whatever you want freely. You can do whatever you want. And yet people are still gonna blame the system, the patriarchy, my goodness. And I just wanna say, for any young person out there, as much as I wish I could say to think for yourself, I truly mean think for yourself. I don't want to push my now Republican ideas on you, but I just invite you to really hear both sides, really do, and think about your future. Think about which party has really done work in this country, who's been on the right side of history. And when I first heard that, I was like, you're so right. And I realized that the Democrats throughout history have always been about race. They're the ones who wanted to keep the slaves as slaves. They're the ones who instituted the KKK. They're the ones who supported a woman who hated children and supported the KKK, which is Margaret Sanger, who is the founder of Planned Parenthood. They were the ones who put the Japanese people in internment camps in the 40s. I'm pretty sure they were the ones who were against the Civil Rights Act being passed, or maybe that was a Democrat, but still, just seeing the big things going on in our history, it does seem like Republicans have been on the right side. But anyway, with this said, regardless of who you are, regardless of your age, your gender, your race, your religion, your ideas, whatever, I hope that the thing you are most proud of besides your religion is being an American. Look at the other countries in the world. Look at Venezuela. Look at all the socialist countries and how they're so bad. Look at how, just look at the other countries. Maybe even visit. Like, literally visit. Because, I mean, of course I don't think that you should just go to a country to see how much worse they are than us. But I'm just saying to open your eyes to different ideas. You know, if you're truly for something, that's totally fine. But I think it's always good to actually go and look at what you are preaching and what you are supporting. Look at the fact that we are taking in half of the world's immigrants. Look at the fact that we are the most charitable country. Look at the fact that we are the most just country, free country, profitable, equitable, opportunistic, equal. You don't see races getting along as well and as abundantly as in America. You don't. You really don't. I mean, you go to Paris, I'm gonna be honest with you, I went to Paris, all the same looking people. You go to New York, you go to San Francisco, you go to, I don't know, maybe Boston or something, all different people. So, with this being said, please don't believe that this country is the worst thing ever. Please pray for this country, pray for yourself, pray for your family, pray for COVID, but most importantly, pray for yourself. I am so scared to post this. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And if it wasn't for just being able to finally open my mind, as I had said that I was doing when I was a liberal, I wouldn't have realized, and I wouldn't have been so much happier. I'm so much happier now. I feel so much freer knowing that there's not something I need to fight and there's not something I need to hate. And I can just go about my day and I can go about working with kids and feel amazing and preach and be proud of my religion and be proud of this channel. And my goodness. And what I really liked about the Republican Party is how you really can be who you want and be a patriot, and they will open their arms. I was so scared to actually be a Republican because I had the idea painted that it was just a bunch of old white guys, as the media is telling us, and that they were gonna hurt me and that they were rapists. I'm not even kidding. And so with this, I was like, I'm gonna die, they're gonna shoot me because of the whole gun thing. And then I realized, no, we stand together, we stand for each other, and we wanna see this country grow. And we don't wanna destroy it, we wanna build it. We wanna build it up. We wanna build this country, we wanna make it great. Because right now it's not great, you know? So, with this said, I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry, I'm not gonna apologize. I hope you have a great day. This was my story of walking away and how free I feel to finally be proud of something and not have to feel guilty about being proud of something, and being with a group of people who actually support me in what I believe in, which is God, America, being a woman and encouraging that, being an educator, because I really want to be a teacher, and being a daughter and being the best person that I can be. And I started to grow so many more heroes from the Republican Party that I never thought I would grow. I remember, you know, being in my school, learning in American history that Ronald Reagan was the devil. And then I started watching some of his speeches and I started crying. I was like, we need this man, this kind of leadership, this kind of man, you know, to be leading our country again. We need this kind of leadership, like I said, I mean, really, courage, charisma, patriotism back. but I can't believe it's offensive to want those things. Man, I just feel bad. I feel sorry. But I don't feel like ill-intended towards them. I don't feel negative towards liberals because I was there, and once you walk away, you kind of realize how much deeper their hole is just being dug, and how much they're just burning themselves more, and how much they're just igniting it even more. And when you're on the outside of that, I kind of feel pity, and I feel bad, and I'm like, dang. To always be mad, and to always feel like you were right in something, you know, and always feel like you were the one who needed to bring about education, which was really so ignorant of me. But anyway, I respect you regardless of anything. I'm praying for you regardless of who you are, and I hope that in the future we can just be patriots. Sorry. We could be patriots and love this country once again. Such a sad time we're living in, but we'll fight the good fight. Fight with love. Fight with God. Fight with Jesus' word. Fight with your goodness, that American goodness, you know? It just feels right to be an American today. So, fight the fight. Go vote. Have an amazing, what's today? Wednesday? Yeah. Have an amazing Wednesday, even though I'm probably going to post this on Thursday. I love you. Thanks for listening. Bye. God bless. Bye.